The Stanford roommate essay is what I call a black hole essay because it can swallow up a seemingly infinite quantity of time, mass, and energy. All right, folks. Clearly, this is a tough one. But lucky for you, your boy Kev here will share 6 tips in the next 6 minutes to help you nail the roommate essay. Make sure you stay until the end though for a special surprise. Tip number 1, objects. If you own a quirky object or collection of objects, mention it here. But fair warning, you don't want to get too weird. Aim for like a 7 out of 10 weird, not like a 10 out of 10. Here's an example from one of our students who got into Harvard and Stanford last year. Dipping sauces. I'll keep a sauce container in the closet filled with every type of dipping sauce you can think of. Chick-fil-A, soy, and horseradish sauce, just to name a few. The Stanford Daily says Stern and Casper are fan favorites, but wait until they see what delectable amalgamations will cook up. On late nights, I will likely be experimenting with new saucy food combinations. Pickles and hot fudge, Doritos and vinegar, cereal and ketchup. Don't worry, I promise I won't make you try it. Why does this work? Well, first off, we're getting a ton of specifics, which proves that this student genuinely means what they say. This paragraph about dipping sauces is something that no other applicant can boast. It's fundamentally unique. At the same time, we're also getting a little bit of intellectual curiosity here, a little taste of adventure. By the way, Harvard loves intellectual responses while Stanford prefers slightly more visionary, adventurous ones. But honestly, they both like both. Mention the school. In the example we just read, it was kind of nice how the student or the applicant gave the Stanford Daily, their newspaper, a gentle nod. When it comes to the Stanford roommate question, I always encourage applicants to mention at least 1 or 2 Stanford proper nouns. It's a little bit harder for the Harvard one since the word count is so short, but hey, mentioning Harvard-specific details never hurts. Tip number 3, traditions. Traditions are, hands down, one of the best topics to write about in the roommate essay. The key, though, is that they have to be unique. Making little gingerbread houses during the holidays, that's all right, but wouldn't it be far cooler if you wrote something like, I come from a family of engineers, which is why every Christmas we create an epic 10-minute light show complete with lasers and rock music. That said, your tradition doesn't have to be grand. It can be cute, heartwarming, and inviting, like a promise to whip up homemade Nutella and strawberry crepes for your roommate whenever they share a win with you, whether that's attaining their dream internship or acing their midterms. Which brings me to tip number 4, selflessness. If you can, infuse a sense of service into your response, while also highlighting what unique contributions you can bring to the table. Consider not just what your roommate can do for you, but what you can do for your roommate. Mention how you'll cook for your roommate, or if you're a DJ, how you'll make a special hype track or mixtape to cheer them up when they're feeling down. It's a really smart tactic to blend the arts with selflessness. I see it used every single year and it works like a charm. Another method I've seen work is inviting your roommates to events that you'd love to attend with them, or traditions you want them to be a part of. Let's bring it back to tip number 2. You can even mention Stanford or Harvard specific traditions or events you want your roommate to partake in with you. Before I share my last 2 tips, it would personally mean the world to me if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you'd like your roommate essay professionally edited, visit www.elevated.school/editmyessay. Use the discount code roommate15 to get 15% off your first edit. Many folks who just had 2 or 3 essays reviewed by us got into Harvard and Stanford, no cap. Tip number 5, Offbeat extracurriculars. If you guys have seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I love to break. But rather than just talking about my experience trying to learn air flares or windmills, if I were writing this essay today, I'd combine breaking with the previous 2 tips about selflessness and traditions. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that every time there's a birthday in the breakdance or hip hop community, we have something called birthday rounds? This is when the birthday boy, girl, person dances the number of rounds equal to their age. If I were applying to Stanford today, I'd mention this piece of fun trivia and write something like this. During birthday rounds, I won't force you to spin on your head with me, but I will force you to record my rounds and your reaction. To thank you for coming along, I promise I'll whip up a giant batch of fried rice. The secret is high heat and constant stirring. Similarly, another senior I worked with about 2 years ago had mad skills with the Chinese yo-yo. In his essay, he wrote about the inciting incident at a Chinese New Year's festival where he first grew obsessed with this toy. Then he detailed how he learned new tricks through the greatest educational platform of all time, YouTube. Finally, he ended by inviting his future roommate to performances and apologizing in advance for random thudding noises whenever he dropped his Diabolo. Finally, my last and most important tip, nerd out. At the end of the day, college is an academic institution, and these admission officers are looking to see proof of your intellectual prowess. However, when I say nerd out, I don't mean write about an esoteric concept no one's ever heard about before. Rather, my advice here is to combine this fun fact with something else, like pop culture, or even a potential insecurity. For instance, one of our students last year wrote about how he spent dozens of hours analyzing every possible theory behind what the One Piece actually is. Another arguably even more successful approach is to infuse curiosity with vulnerability. I was hesitant about telling you this, but my mom said, you have a right to know. I have somniloquy. That's gobbledygook for sleep talking. You might hear me rambling about my AGI projects, my side ones, not those from CS221, or accidentally revealing my family's secret recipe for the best boulani you'll ever have. This student actually got into Stanford, by the way. What I love about his approach is how he begins with a flaw, mixes humor with great vocab, then brings in an element of intellectual vitality merged with cultural curiosity. Brilliant. All right, my dear virtual little siblings, here's your gifts for staying until the end, a breakdance clip, and a link to the next most important supplemental essay, the Why Our School essay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.